I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight, and I'd especially like to thank the University of New Hampshire for hosting this event. Now, I'm a student like most of you, and the other day someone told me that an optimist is a college student who looks in his wallet for money. Now, the truth is, it took me 10 years out of high school to be able to afford to go to college. College debt has exploded. There's more student debt in America today than any other kind of debt, except for mortgages. It's $1.5 trillion. And college is supposed to be our ticket to opportunity, but it's crushing us. Now, of course, every student is supported by a family. And today, there's literally not one state in the country where a family making minimum wage can afford a 2-bedroom apartment. With costs of things like housing and healthcare rising, families are falling behind. So what does the White House want to do? Well, their budget ends federally subsidized student loans, cuts Medicaid and temporary assistance for needy families, and makes it harder to get federal housing assistance. Senator Elizabeth Warren gets these problems. For her, it's personal. See, as a kid, her family almost lost their home when her father had a heart attack. Her mom got a minimum wage job at Sears, and at the time that was enough to pull them through. But they couldn't afford to continue her education. But fortunately, at 16 years old, she got a debate scholarship, and she headed off to college. Later, she went to law school. She became a law professor and an expert in bankruptcy. Of course, nobody had to tell her what it took to get by in America. She and her family had lived it. So when the biggest banks crushed the US economy and people didn't know what to do, President Obama called on her for her expert advice. And she created an agency to keep watch on the big banks. And when regulators were helping banks, cheating people out of their homes, she took these regulators apart on the Senate floor. Video was all over the internet, and it inspired a lot of us. And when the Republicans in Congress kept her off the board of the agency that she had created, she ran for the Senate. She persisted. They couldn't keep her out of the conversation. See, Warren has this rare combination. She knows the intimate details of how tax law, education policy, and financial regulations can hold our lives hostage. But she also knows in her gut what that means for American families, and she knows how to fight. See, we can have a country with universal childcare, student debt relief, and a major investment in housing subsidies, or we could keep giving more money to those folks who are already ahead. So join me in welcoming this professor, this lawyer, this watchdog of Wall Street, and the next President of the United States, Senator Elizabeth Warren.